So for those who don't know, Ray Young, co-founder at Edgemont Way Ventures, venture capitalist firm for the culture, which specializes in tech, media, and sports. Born and raised in the Bay Area, attended St. Joe's High School, where in '98 he was named a McDonald's All-American. Attended and played at UCLA, where he co-captained the men's hoop team and was awarded the John Wooden Award during the 02-03 season. Super excited to have you on the Bridge to Bridge podcast, Ray. Welcome.
Man, glad to be here, Big Mike. How you guys doing?
We're doing good. And I'll just add in, a translation on that too, for those that don't know. Growing up in the Bay Area, Ray Young, a household name in basketball. So that is a fact. I got more stories on that, but for sure.
Dom's a little older than me. He's probably your age. So,
Okay. Me and Dom the same age. All right, bet.
So I think you were definitely important to a lot of Bay Area folks. So we're glad to have you on. Before we dive into kind of what's going on today, would love to learn a little bit about your upbringing and kind of growing up in the East Bay.
So I was actually raised by technically a blended family. So my mom got divorced when I was 2, remarried, and that's who I call dad. So we grew up in Oakland. I've been there, practically my whole life. For a short period of time, we moved to Florida when I was 9 years old. And I tell people Florida was so bad or just such a culture shock for us that we moved back to Oakland, California when it was the murder capital. That's how bad Florida was messed up. No hate on Florida. I know there's some great humans there, but man, we must have got back to Oakland so fast. So after that, long story short, Adrian, Mike. I was originally from 35th Redwood Road. Me and Adrian, same neighborhood. It's been my local point guard forever. We were parked apart. And then I ended up switching neighborhoods and going to the East Oakland Hills, where I had then also changed high schools also. So my parents had gotten a little bit of money. They had moved to the Hills. They were like, nope, you're not going to Skyline. Took me right over to St. Joe's. Frank Laporte had coached Jason Kidd, who lived whose family lived like right above us now. So that was pretty much life. Life in the East Bay, really, it was Oakland. I don't want to get into like all the like wild stories, but overall, I had a great childhood. I was happy. Overall, I was safe. And the only reason I was safe was because people in the community knew me and recognized me. I never did any harm or foul or anything ill. I had a great time in Oakland. I know that's not everybody's, story, and it wasn't like that every day. But for the most part, I was a happy kid from Oakland. That's all I knew.
You had a brother too, didn't you?
Yeah, and actually, people don't know my brother Ronald Lewis. I just got into the VC world. My brother is with a company called Better Up in San Francisco, and I think they just got valuated over $1 billion now, and he's helped raise a large amount of the money that's already been brought in. He's been a beast of his own went to St. Joe's. He actually won a state title. I went to the state finals twice, and he actually won his senior year with Alex Harris and Donnie Noble.
My guy, Alex Harris. That's my guy right there.
Oh, yeah. Alex Harris, gets major buckets, string bean.
And I played with Donnie in college at Sonoma State. So.
That's right. Yeah. And Big C.
Yeah. So you and your brother, you guys battled a lot. Was there a high competitive?
What? We were 6 years apart.
Yeah.
So my brother was
like me and you,
big.
Mike.
Yeah. No, it's
not. He said no, it's not. Right. But I was much bigger than my brother. Like let's not get it twisted. My brother's 6 foot, 6'1". I'm 6'4", 6'5". 220, 225 or something. My brother's much smaller, and more importantly, he was getting 4.2s and 3s when I didn't even know you could do that. So He went to SC, got his bachelor's there, and then went to Stanford B School, where he got obviously master's in business. So I chose the more athletic route, did the UCLA thing. I encouraged him to go to USC, take more of an academic approach, and it worked out for both of us because his roommate is the CEO of the company that's now evaluated over $1 billion. Me and Matt Barnes are now, business partners, also roommates in college and AAU, years before
Right.
UCLA. And, ironically, now we're in the same position, to make some moves, so kind of dope how it worked out college-wise. Best thing in the world that could have happened for both of us.
You mentioned playing at St. Joe's. You were touted there as the best player to come out of there since Jason Kidd. Did you feel like there was a lot of pressure?
No. So it's funny to hear that because, like, you got to think about it as a kid in the actual position. You're not thinking about none of that shit. None of that crosses your mind. You don't care. Hell, I got a scholarship to any school in the world that I want. I don't give a shit what nobody's saying. My parents are happy. They don't have to pay for college. I get to escape Oakland, because there was a feeling of that back in the 90s, right? So it was like, I didn't know what people were saying. I didn't even care. I'm out of Oakland. I won. Like, shit, I already won. Right? The league and all of that was icing on the cake. I got out of Oakland safely. My parents are proud. I got a degree. I won, or a chance to get a degree, right? So the pressure and all of that stuff, dude, I used to hear about it when I was at UCLA. I never knew. And I also knew early I couldn't care because as soon as you start reading headlines and papers, that becomes a weird thing. Now you're making moves that you probably wouldn't make because you're reading papers and reading what everybody else is saying. I was very blessed that I didn't have that. For me, I know the only reason I didn't become a pro, I just hadn't seen one. There wasn't an example in Oakland. That's it. I didn't see my first pro till I literally got to UCLA. And now with the pressure of being a McDonald's All-American, yes, I got to speed all of this up. Right now that I know where I'm really at and like what I'm up against. But hell, if I just would have saw pros in Oakland long enough and just knew the playbook, how they trained, how they thought about it, no doubt. I mean, I was just one of those kids from Oakland that had shit. I already felt I won in high school. Shit, I was out. I'm safe. I'm alive.
Hey, Ray, what when did the passion for basketball start for you as a kid growing up? 7th grade?
7th grade. I saw the best game I'd ever seen in the world. Kevin Garnett, Jelani McCoy, Paul Pierce, Tayshaun Prince, Jason Thomas, who ended up, he was a football star at UNLV. Jelani McCoy and KG is all you need to say. So I'd already won a Babe Ruth baseball World Series when I was 12. Jimmy Rollins and his little brother. Well, Jimmy was on the older team, but his little brother was on my team. We won the same year. So in my head, I was a baseball player. But what happened? I begged my parents to leave St. Leo's in 7th grade to go to Montera because I was supposed to go to Bret Hart because I lived close to Bret Hart. So I begged my parents to go to Montera. Thank God. I met Gary Payton's father. I met Brandon Payton. I met the whole NorCal crew, Jules Milstead, Mike Austin, RIP. I met all those dudes at Montera Junior High, and they were the first ones that got me interested more in basketball. Me and Adrian were park killers. So the hoods knew me, like in real life. Like you can go to any hood, they knew the green-eyed kid. You know what I mean? I was straight in real life, but I hadn't been in a system, right, and played on a team. I might have played on the little 6th grade team. You play a couple of the schools around, but me and Adrian McCullough, we was at the park. Like you can find us at the park. I didn't even care about organized basketball because I was a baseball player. in my brain. So that was my first time playing literally organized basketball in 7th grade. They begged my parents to take me to a trip in Las Vegas. And I saw I had lost. Number one, I wasn't used to losing. So I was already, felt some kind of way. But I was like, let me go see this championship game. And I think this is where the 8th graders go in the 9th grade. So I just want to see what some of the high schoolers look like. Just curious. And shit. KG, Paul Pierce, Jelani McCoy. It's like,
doesn't get any better.
Like,
yeah.
Oh shit. And I remember it was like a New York street ball game. I mean, the gym was packed. Every college coach you could think of was in that gym. And I mean,
writing checks.
Tark, Coach K, Lute Olson, anybody, dude. And we're talking about they were going to the 9th grade. Like they were about to go to the 9th grade, y'all. And I'm talking about everybody that you've seen on TV is standing up with everybody else. They ain't got a chair. Ain't no chair for you. Like these are 8th or 9th graders killing it. So when I saw that atmosphere in Vegas, I'm doing this. Because in baseball, you got to remember, now I'm really good at baseball, and no cap, baseball gets wider and wider and wider. Right. So now I'm in Elk Grove. Now I'm in these like weird racist ass places, right? And I'm like the only black dude, right? It'd be like me and Jimmy Rollins, you know what I mean? We're CC Sabathia, maybe. That's like we were the few brothers that was moving around like that. So when I got to Vegas and saw this is like East Oakland again, right? Like, oh, this is what I'm used to. This is home, or this is the park. Right. I'm doing this. After that, I didn't quit baseball immediately because I was trying to do the Jason Kidd, be a McDonald's All-American in basketball and baseball, but Coach Laporte cut that off. No way. So by the time I was 16, that was the last time I touched a baseball. But that basketball game in Vegas turned me out. Period. Shout out to my real life partner in Media 34, Jelani McCoy. Real shit. And that's how life comes full circle. I ended up going to UCLA with him. He was older than me. When I was coming into UCLA, he was going to the league. But when he came back that summer, we had figured out we were from Oakland. And
2 peas in a pod.
Come on.
So when, getting a late start, putting in work into the game, because let me tell you a story I heard, not even knowing you. This is before you ever knew Mike. This is me, just a young, and by the way, I grew up in Oakland too. I grew up in West Oakland on 54th and Whitney.
Yes, sir.
And that was when West Oakland was West Oakland. It's not like how it is now. People that go through now, West Oakland used to be legit.
Yes, it did.
But I also, my folks got divorced, and so I was going back and forth in San Francisco, and I heard a story I think it was in grade school. I'd either watched a game and I'm like, man, how is Ray Young so good? And they said, oh, he does 1,000 calf raises a night. And so I'm like,
it was partly true. It was partly true. So let me tell you now. Let me tell you, as an adult, that's actually, I gave you very bad information, but at least you understood my hustle and my process, right? Mm-hmm. You shouldn't do a whole bunch of freaking calf raises. If I would have known what I know now in science, I would have added that with a bunch of squats. The one thing that I did right, that I always tell any athlete that I was doing for anybody else was talking about it, I always ran heels. So also you have to add that to my calves, because if you're always running heels, that means I'm always kind of, gliding on my toes, even if, whether I want to or not. So the one thing that I would do is like, not so much the calf raises. I did do the strength shoes. I really did the program. That was another thing I used to tell people back in high school. Yo,
you can't just buy the jump soles and walk around.
Yeah. Like, yo, I was doing the I tell people all the time, I did not have hops. I was a baseball player. I didn't even know what that meant. Literally, it looked cool until I went to 7th grade and saw 7th graders dunking. Vegas turned me out. Like, wait, what?
Yeah.
seventh, dude, Jason Thomas at the end of his 6th grade, going into his 7th grade year, was dunking. That's why I went home and got the strength shoes. Are you kidding me? I live by a hill. Shit, I might as well use this shit. Let me run up it. You know, let me do some sprints. Oh, I got these cool shoes now. Shoot, let's. I used to run a mile and a half up my hill in strength shoes. That's how I got hops. I wasn't capping. I wasn't no like shit didn't come natural to me at all. Like
I think it's huge for the
program.
Yeah,
Literally,
no.
like
that's huge for the young athletes, because you know when you're growing up, you see and you're like, hey, if I'm not naturally good at that, they must just be naturally good. If I'm watching Ray Young in the dunk contest at the McDonald's All-American, he must have just been born like that.
I couldn't even dribble going into high school.
I still can't dunk.
I was a dunker. That's it. I was already used to playing baseball. I played basketball at the parks. I was this guy. Coach Laporte put some like skill in me and like changed my shot so I wasn't shooting in front of my face, right? And you know, just gave me some like basic protocol. But that came from him. That was not me at all. I worked on that. I changed my shot. You know, I remember going through the Steph Curry pains of like, you're changing your shot. It's not working for a whole summer. So what do? Well, shit, it's not working. So I'm gonna fucking dunk on you the whole game until my shot figures itself out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that like, it was almost like, yeah, it was forced for a period of time for me to be super athletic because that was the only way I was gonna stay on the court. I was changing my shot. I was learning how to dribble. I like physically, yeah, but like skill wise, shit, it took time, and it was never natural. I was probably more natural in baseball because that's what I'd always played since I was 6, but I wasn't a natural hooper at all. I never claimed to be. Like,
what were some of the battles like between other high schools in the area and across the bridge in San Francisco? Because I feel like nowadays you see some of these high schools playing against each other. You know, the gym isn't as packed. It's not as crazy. And I feel like hearing some stories about back in the day, like the games were crazy.
I'll give you an example of why it's not the same in my opinion. Remember I told you me and Adrian went to the parks.
Right.
People really knew us, right? Like it wasn't no like, who are they? Like, no, people like, dude, we have been going to parks. I wasn't even supposed to be on the bus, none of that. I was like, oh yeah, mom, I'll be back. Like, nah, I was on the bus, going to downtown, going to the Y, going to West Oakland sometimes, knowing damn well we're not supposed to be over there. So the difference was, it was like, people knew us. I played baseball, so people also knew me from baseball, right? So there was always a real
crowd of people.
Buzz. There was a buzz going all the time.
It was a real, it wasn't no cap or like I didn't come out of the blue. It was like, no, I was I was the light-skinned green kid that could go to the hood and hang with everybody, literally. Right. Sorry. Like, it's just what it was at Oakland at that time. That's what it was. I got a pass because of my skill. You did? Yeah. So there were always people either wanting to catch up that I never knew until I got older, until they told me. You know, like I said, I'm just a kid playing. So the rivalry thing came from, like, a lot of people didn't know, like, I played baseball with a lot of people I was rivals with. People didn't know that. So there was also, you know, I'd won a World Series already, right? So like there were all kind of like micro levels of rivalry that were already happening in Oakland anyway, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, you got Adrian, who's the best point guard, right? Is it, you know, it's like, you know, I chose him every time, right? This is my man from the neighborhood. It's me and him all day, right? Like that shit. That's who I was telling the city is the best. Well, you go to West Oakland, shit, they got their man too, right? You go to the super deep East, you know, depending, you know, the East got about 4 or 5 different sets. Right. Depending on, you know, Sobrani, you know, Seminary, everybody got their PG.
And San Francisco's a whole different story.
A whole different animal. And it's the same way there in a smaller segment. But I go, you got Pop Warner, you got Babe Ruth, you got basketball. I go, you don't know how many people were track, were rivals on the low that you just didn't know why, but it's like, nah, it just went up to adulthood. It just got bigger and bigger. Does that make sense? So it was
Yeah.
like these were genuine, like, in-town rivals, like literally, like,
Right.
oh, I think, you know, such and such from Mac is better than me, such and such from Oakland High, or, you know, whatever. That's just what it was, and it was real life.
Right.
Just what it was.
Hey, being the same age, I can see how you got into baseball early though, because the A's were firing in the '80s, firing, and you had the characters.
Bash Brothers, baby.
Oh, Bash Brothers!
Come
You
on.
had the Hendersons, Dave and Ricky, and it was
We're
just
from the
like,
town.
yeah,
2 black baseball players, dude. They came.
Yeah.
Hey, just to show you how real it was, they came and talked at our banquet. The baseball team that I played for, and trust me, you're like real Bay Area people know Allen Temple baseball. Period. Look up who got the pros. Allen Temple baseball. Period.
Right.
And we got the MVP, Jimmy Rollins. So stop playing with me. So that was the vibe. That's what it was. All that is. It wasn't even a basketball town. When I remember Oakland, it was only about the A's. Period. That's why I said that. Like, Gary Payton's dad had to come convince me. You know, like, you need to be doing this, literally, because it was a baseball town at the time. You know,
for sure.
So you got a lot of looks for college, I'm sure. You know, why UCLA? And when you look back, do you feel like going there was the right move from a basketball standpoint?
So it was more divine destiny that I went to UCLA. Okay, my grandmother couldn't say Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, so she used to mix it up, Abdul Kareem, or, you know, whatever it was. But I was always like a family joke. Of course, when you see a tall, light-skinned kid, you think they're going to be the next Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. So that was always a joke. Secondly, coming from St. Joe's, I was a big fish in a small pond, right? And also in a pond that I didn't know, because now I'm in a whole nother city in Alameda, which is completely different than Oakland, right? So in choosing a school, it needed, though I could have went to Stanford, which was probably the best basketball decision if I wanted to stay local. And also because Montgomery ended up being my coach for the Warriors also, ironically. Or the right basketball answer was Arizona with Lute Olson, right? So though it was divine destiny, though like now all of my ventures have a lot to do with UCLA and its ecosystem, basketball wise, it was the wrong decision. And I'm okay and mature enough to like admit that now. And also wanting to give advice to the other to the next generation, right? Like you have to know how to evaluate basketball decisions. And I didn't, because there was no basketball minds outside of Frank Laporte around me who knew how to really play the politics. And he died my senior year.
Yeah.
So I had my Yoda is died, right? So I'm not going to make the same basketball decision as if I got my Yoda next to me, right? Because he would have probably told me to go to the older, more established coach, right? Not the 35-year-old Steve Lavin. And God bless him, he did the best he could. Dude, he was 35 years old with 4 or 5 McDonald's All-Americans. No way in hell.
Yeah, we had him on the show.
Yeah, no way he was gonna know what to do with it. So in looking back, these are all of the the things that you look back on like, damn. Also too, when you're a McDonald's All-American, or you're a good enough to where somebody, whatever school, D1, D2, D3, if they're recruiting you and they're already telling you, no, this spot is for you, you go there. You don't go to a school where you work hard and like, oh yeah, and like we're gonna make you into a man. No, that's not the way you get to the NBA, at least, right? You know, that's just not. No, what you do is you be Dame Lillard take a step back. Maybe you can go to a Washington State or a low-level D1. No, but you go low D1. You go to
And you
Weber
dominate.
State. You know why? Because they'll let you figure it out. You got 4 years. Who gives a shit? They are probably so happy to have a kid from Oakland with his tenacity and athleticism. Who gives a shit? You could be here 6 years. We'll let you figure it out. That's the school you go to.
Yep.
That's what Stanford was offering me from a basketball perspective, because they had never had it. They still probably have never really had an athlete like I was. Right? Well, nah, he's not. I was not. I'm still probably the most athletic that they've had, at least up until this point. And definitely not even close to most well known outside of Casey Jacobson. Shout out to his shooting ass. But outside of Casey Jacobson, yeah, like that was the play. Or Lute Olson, who literally that was probably the best. I mean, that was really the answer basketball wise. It was like, no, go to Lute Olson. He already had a spot for me. It wasn't no work hard. It wasn't no, this is yours. We want you here. We want you to figure it out. And if a coach is saying that to you, that's where you go. UCLA wasn't saying that to me, and because they had also changed coaches, which people don't know. I was going to UCLA because you used to go there and can win, right?
Right.
O'Bannon Brothers, Jim Herrick, that's what I signed up for. 95 championship, that's when basketball for me, that's when I started really hitting the national map. So now Jim Herrick is coming to my games and he's saying hi to me and, getting to know me and also talking to my coach. So that's what I really signed up for. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But what I got was obviously something different. So it was kind of like my heart was already at UCLA. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Even though basketball wise, I should have detached it and just went to Arizona. And if I didn't want to do Arizona, stay home and go to Stanford. That was the right basketball decision for those reasons that I told you. If you're good enough and a coach is telling you, hey, this is your spot, we want you to figure it out. We're not going to recruit over you. You got nothing to worry about. Figure it out. Long as you, as a man, get the opportunity to do your job.
That's all you can ask for.
That's all you can ask for. And that's what I should have did, period.
But you were saying, Ray, business wise though, you made a lot of connections. Can you get into? I mean, I know we got we got
business wise, none of that shit matters. Is what I just said.
Yeah.
But so that's why I say it was more divine destiny, long-term life plan, life strategy sort of situation. One, I make a note to acknowledge one of the people that got me into the production game was Baron Davis. Who had also done a lot of deals, been in the entertainment industry, content, movies, tech investing. So
always busy.
Always busy. So I saw a lot of things, and we both have the same ADD, right? So we can handle multiple projects. We're hyphenated individuals, investor, entrepreneurial, athlete, hyphenated this, that, and the third. So I did it. I learned a lot, under Baron Davis, tutelage. After I died, honestly. After I died, I knew I was going back to LA anyway, and I didn't know what was the play. And he was the one that had put in my head, like, yo, you'd be a great producer. You're fly. People like your swag, and you have great relationships with people. You get them to tell you things that they wouldn't tell people. That's what producers do. And that kind of sparked my idea and got me coming down to Los Angeles. So that's what just one of the things. Obviously, I told you guys, Jelani McCoy is my my partner in Media 34, which I created after I left Barron's umbrella. And now that I'm in the VC world, not only is Jelani head of media for my VC, but also Matt Barnes is also a part of my board, a big ambassador. He's brought some A-list celebrities to the game that I never could have and don't have the influence to, but he did. And we've kind of built a fairly strong UCLA ecosystem from business, the media, the tech, to investing, and more importantly, just having each other's back as men and wanting to learn and grow you know, in the tech media space, and obviously continue to leave our legacy in sports, which is, you know, why any of you give a fuck about us in the first place, right? So,
Well, I care about you because I know you personally. So
yeah. I mean, of course,
yeah.
but you know, we honor these conversations. We honor, you know, I don't take for granted anymore the influence, because people still tell me stories all the time about, you know, and like I said, I was a kid, man. I wasn't even thinking that deep into none of this. You know, I'm having fun and trying to get out of Oakland like everybody else. So I don't want it to think that it was ever like that deeper, or why I never had like some like crazy ego. It just wasn't that. I was just a kid, just happy to be, you know, at least feel like he's on the right path to escape Oakland at that time. That's just where I was at.
You mentioned Matt Barnes. Were you pretty pumped to see him start his podcast, which is, you know, blowing
Hell
up?
yeah.
I mean, it's such a good podcast. Up in Smoke, right?
Yeah, probably like second best podcast out there.
After
Second
Bridge
best
to
to
Bridge
you
to
guys,
Bridge,
no doubt.
you know?
No doubt. Shout out to Bridge to Bridge, you dig? So I do like shout out to Matt, because Matt is one of those people that I look back on like, man, look how much he's changed, right? You know, a Sacramento kid coming into Los Angeles. We both came into a sticky basketball situation. He made it out by the skin of his teeth. Also, you know, another person that should have been a college, you know, All-American. But long story short, he made it work. He figured it out. Now he's investing. Now he's making dope podcasts. He's involved with movies. He's a mover and shaker. He's becoming an A-list celebrity in Los Angeles. And if you were to tell me when we were 14 and 15 playing AAU that eventually we're going to be 40 and we're going to be doing major business ventures and taking over Los Angeles and, you know, linking up with this A-list celebrity, this person, and doing this, no fucking way. You know, no way. So that's why I mean, the podcast is cool, but I'm more proud of like Matt's human evolution. And I feel like All the Smoke is just showing another version of that, right? When I met Matt, you know, he looked like a white skater from Sacramento, straight up. He did. I like, you know, like he was one of those people where the first time, like, now mind you, I'm from Oakland, and, you know, I look like a normal Oakland kid and whatever, right? Got my Jordans, got my little, you know, too baggy suit, blah, blah, blah. You know, Matt comes in the gym, can't make this up, in these big bell-bottom ass pants, like carpenter boots, like not Tim's or nothing fly at all. Like I'm talking about like some like big ass clunky boots, a big ass hoodie. And I remember looking like, y'all want me to hoop with this guy? You know, like complete, you know, you're a kid, complete judgment. Like,
Right.
huh? Like he's tall, like I get it. You know, his body's just okay, you know, like I've been hearing like, you know, the thing, you know, I'm expecting to see this like, you know, Scottish dude. It's like,
Right.
you know, he kind of has a blob body. He's tall. You know, I'm like, all right, like whatever. So, you know, we get on the court. By the end of the session, I was like, I need him.
Right.
Him, right? One, he was willing to fight. Number one, off the rip, no problem. That like I don't want people to think that that's like an NBA or money thing. Like no. He's been with the shits since, you know, 8th, 9th grade. Easy,
Right.
easy. Not afraid. Right?
You gotta be willing, because they'll in the street games they'll take advantage of the foul calling. They'll just be like, foul because I say so, and then you don't get to call fouls unless you establish that quick. You get no impromptu ref love.
Ray knows I know all about that. I call foul at Jamtown, bro. Oh my, it'll be one
Hey, we
foul.
always get on Mike's ass, Mike. Don't come on, Mike. All right, hey, and 9 times out of 10, it is a foul. We don't call shit, and we beat each other up all the time, and that's just what it is. But for Matt, I like seeing that, because I was like, shit, he's tough, and the fact that he came from Sacramento and bell bottoms, right? shit, he playing with everybody else and no problem. You know what I mean? So I obviously had a basketball respect for him, but seeing him was like, I would have never guessed. And then just to see his evolution, now he's holding conversations with the best of them.
He's killing it.
Interviewing some of the dopest, minds in the world and the game.
He motivated me to start this podcast, 100%.
See?
He's got that. He's got the sickest, like that. For a while, he was running that '50s hairstyle too. I want to see him in like a old school
with the grease back.
Yeah,
yes,
I want to see him in a movie, a feature film, as like that '50s gangster with the white suit, with the rose, with the cigarette, and it's like, hey, I'm coming to talk to my guy. He would kill that role. He's got to let someone.
So it either has to be that role or like the El DeBarge role. Because we ain't seen the El DeBarge family yet. There was some slicksters, yeah. But no, that's real.
I got to correct. I said it was the Up and Smoke podcast. It's all the Smoke podcast. So correct.
Yeah, you're thinking of the Up and Smoke tour, which was a very sick tour with Cypress Hill and the Fugees, and that actually was at Mountain View amphitheater.
Oh man!
And I'll just say when I went to that at
good
like
memory.
12, 13, little bit of secondhand. I'll just say that, little bit of secondhand.
Something was a little off. Yeah,
so,
I get it.
So I know after college you hooped professionally in the NBA for the Hornets and the Warriors. You know, what was it special for you to play for the Warriors? You know, and be kind of doing the hometown thing.
You know who I'm looking at now? Who
we had on the show first episode.
My spirit, baby.
Yeah.
Okay, dude. I won. People always ask me like, oh, bro, the last team that I played for was the Warriors. If I got cut by the Warriors, fuck it. I won. So to see Juan winning,
yeah.
We didn't have the D League back and forth. It wasn't as integrated. They wanted me to stay in the CBA to come grab me. But I was already making money in real estate. I was driving the Benz without basketball money. Multiple houses. I was a completely different, mid-20, young 20-year-old kid. So I left the game early, happily, and my parents still have my Warriors jersey, all the bullshit that they gave me. All I tell people is like, yo, I earned my NBA socks. I brought a jersey home to mom. It says Oakland Warriors on. Well, it doesn't say Oakland Warriors, but it says Warriors. And shit, what else could I ask for in the basketball career? Yeah, I want to play 15 years, but that wasn't going to be my story. So fuck it. You got to tell another one.
You mentioned earlier that you went to LA after you died, and obviously, I know you've told the story many times, but for our listeners who don't know, can you go into detail a little bit about what happened and, how it's changed your outlook on life?
Yeah, well, in 2017, September 27th, sometime in the morning, I had a sudden cardiac arrest where I literally died, turned blue, passed out on the basketball court. Luckily, people knew CPR, and they literally had this one machine where there's probably about 4 or 5 in the state of California. And luckily, my best friend's cousin happened to be on the fire truck that had it about 10 minutes away. That's what actually really saved my life, got me to the hospital to where at least I could, be in a coma safely, right? So long story short, I was in a coma, out of here. I was told I got a 5% chance of not only surviving, but then you put another 5% chance on my brain and my body and everything else actually functioning because I lost so much oxygen. And so, those are just the numbers. So with that said, luckily, thank God, Allah, whoever's out there, Buddha, all of them, woke up 3 days later. I wasn't good, but I was alive, and I hoped I would get well. Because when I first woke up, I really couldn't process information. My brain was kind of cloudy and muddy. I could understand a little bit, but I couldn't retain anything. I couldn't talk for too long without forgetting what we were talking about, or like some very scary shit in terms of memory loss, and just not even wanting to talk too much because I didn't want you to know that I knew. I can't even process everything you're saying to me. You know, I'm getting pieces of it, and then I say something quick, and then I just shut the fuck up. And I did that for the first couple of days. You know, people think you're groggy or like whatever, but it was like, no, I didn't know what the fuck you were talking about.
Right.
And not because my brain was not
The same.
wasn't firing.
Yeah.
So
Ray, I want to ask a personal question real quick, because I work as a firefighter, and
I didn't know that.
even in my field, it's very rare for someone to flatline, to go into cardiac arrest, and A, come back, make it to the hospital, and B, be where you're at right now. You got, you know, projects in the works. You're, you know what I mean? And so, I mean, during that, you know, from when you went down to when you woke up in a coma, you know, did you have any, you know, any recollections of being in that? I mean, it's a crazy, or was it just like, hey, I remember what I remember going in, and I remember coming out, and in between was nothing?
I don't remember about a month before. So this is all, everything that I tell you that happens is from Matt Barnes and the people that were in the gym actually there. I don't know. I don't even remember 3-4 weeks before that. So in my brain, a lot of times I can talk about it way more casually because it's a thing that happened. I know it's a real thing, and I can look, certain things about it will make me emotional, but like overall, the experience, luckily, was very easy on me because I really genuinely don't remember shit outside of waking up in the hospital, which I tell people all the time is like a 50 Cent movie where you wake up, like, you know, and you don't remember nothing. Like, you know, literally, like, tell me what happened. I don't, like, wait, what? I was hooping and and I just, what? You know, it's like, okay, yeah, like I guess. But you know, I remember waking up and like, yeah, it wasn't nothing spiritual about it. It was like I was freaked out. Like, you know, like, yo, what the hell is going on? Like, just like anybody would.
Because you were such a healthy dude, man.
Yeah,
We hooped every
and
day.
Oh my gosh! And imagine, I've been a halfway vegetarian since like 2000, like literally. So like health and all of that stuff is not new to me. You know, I'm a very health conscious dude. I work out
hard
5-6 times a week.
I used to see you in the gym putting up hundreds and hundreds of jumper. Like when I remember when I found out, you know, because I was going and I didn't go that day, but I was there the days before, and after I was just so like confused. I couldn't believe it.
Imagine me.
Oh, dude.
Like, as healthy as I am, what y'all talking about? My heart stopped. What?
Right.
Like, you know, like impossible. And then the cold thing about it, they go back in there, they can't figure out what's wrong. They're like, yo, your heart looks better than all of ours. I don't know. So that was the other thing. So anyway, they put a defibrillator, they connected a defibrillator to my heart. So I have a little device that's probably about that big, 3 inches maybe, if that, in my chest that connects to my heart to ensure that if it was to ever do anything weird like that again, it would automatically shock me. And I've had people that have had it before, and they just said it just feels like somebody punched you real quick, and then you get over it.
But it's never fired after, right?
No, thank God, no. It didn't. They put me on a bunch of medicine, and obviously I got off. You know, being from the Bay and a naturalist as I am, I got off of it very quickly, and I didn't tell them until I got the results in, because I didn't want them to know that I wasn't taking it. I just wanted the results to see what it was gonna do. My oxygen levels had skyrocketed up just on a vitamin regimen. You know, magnesium, a bunch of magnesium actually, and I did a couple other things, but I got my heart oxygen level back up. Everything went back to normal, and thank God, Since then, I've been well. I still work out,
Thank God.
6, sometimes 7 times a week. I'm still running hills. My girl lives in Windsor Hills. So when I'm over her house, I bang the hills out still. Ain't nothing changed there.
Dom's in Windsor Hills.
Windsor Hills in LA.
Windsor Hills. Yeah.
Oh,
Windsor Hills in LA.
where are you running hills at? I'm running hill. I run one hill up to the Ingold Park, but one hill will
really?
usually do me in.
Yeah. So, I'm over there by Slauson and La Brea, literally. So I'm up in those.
I'm coming through right now. Hold on.
Hey,
Hey.
I'm in the Dons, baby.
Oh, you're in the Dons. I'm
Yeah.
I'm right off of Maymont, which is off of Verdun, and Slauson turns into. It's right off of Verdun and Maymont, but it goes up straight up to the park. I'm like half a mile.
Wow.
I'll throw the
Okay.
football to the house.
If you're on Slauson, I know you're close. So
Yeah.
yeah, like
Oh yeah.
I'll
No.
connect you guys for sure.
No doubt.
We got to
definitely.
get those hills in.
But Ray, one thing I remember was that the support, the community, I felt like it was amazing to see. I felt like a lot of people rallied around to help you out. And you talk about the vitamin regimen, like were people reaching out and really trying to help you figure this thing out? And did you feel like
Yes.
Oakland and the Bay had your back?
All day. That was one of the best things about it. It's like, obviously you hate to have people come and support you, because it's death. But at the same time, I'm still happy that people came to support me. I felt more loved than ever. Even the doctors always talk about how they had never seen anybody in the hospital that had that type of response. It was like, we had to put a password so you could even come up into the room, just because I had just way too many visitors in and out, and it was like killing the staff. And so what they did was they allowed me on Saturday and Sunday. They gave me a whole corner section in the hospital where I can invite everybody. It was basically like our own party room on the floor. And my room might have been like 6 doors down. So I was literally, would go get my treatment, do whatever I need to do, come back into the party room, Wingstop, ice cream,
Yeah.
friends, family, and honestly, that was honestly one of the best times in my life.
What was it like picking up the basketball for the first time after that happened?
Scary, and a couple more times, which the universe told me to sit my ass down. I had partially tore my Achilles. So,
what?
Yeah, you probably didn't know that. No. So what happened? I came back to hooping about 2 months. I was like, nah, hell no, I'm getting back on the horse. Damn that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, nah, y'all not about to run me out the gym like this, right? So what happened was I did a move against Michael Thompson, Clay's brother.
Right.
I did a little move, and it felt like somebody had like ran the cart over me. I remember looking back like, dude, I thought somebody had like hit me, like, dude,
Yeah.
nobody there. And I was like, oh, I heard about this. I know what this is. So stayed there for a minute until, the blood just like,
Yeah.
And I remember getting up and just feeling all that blood rushing down there. And luckily I didn't tear it. Thank God I didn't tear it. It was just a partial little inch tear, or not even an inch, a centimeter tear. And it was really because I technically caught a cramp, literally while making the move. So that has slowed me down. Bikram yoga saved my life that time. That's when I got even more heavy into Bikram yoga, because I guess like all the blood getting down to my Achilles, I was cool in like 5-6 months. Even my doctor was like, what the hell? I was already back on my toes and doing yoga poses and all.
Back on 1,000 calf raises a night.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was back on that already. So since then I've hooped plenty. I'm good. But I was one of those people, I wanted to get like right back on the horse, because I understand psychologically that'll blow you up. And also too, one of my life goals is like, I got to stay in shape. There's no such thing as getting out of shape.
Yeah. I mean, in 17, I kind of went through a little phase where I was a little depressed. And the one thing I became obsessed with was getting back on the horse and
Yep.
getting back to where I was. And so I can only imagine, man, as a competitor, that's what was going through your mind.
And it's funny, you talk about depression. So I tell people all the time, that was the only time I was depressed, when I was mad at basketball. I wasn't playing it. And I was like, I'll never treat the game like that again. Right. I was slightly mad at it. And well, more than mad, obviously, but the point being was, basketball now acts as some form of therapy, and I honor that. You know, even if I'm not playing, even if I just, you know, get some shots up somewhere or whatever, it acts as therapy. And I know, as long as I can, you know, at least play, watch, or mess around with a ball, I'm pretty much good.
You know,
Let
there
me
was
turn
a,
the light real quick. 2 seconds.
for sure. You
Yep, go
know,
ahead.
there was a time at Jamtown, you know, that year, and it was after, you know, I think you had just started coming back and you were just getting shots up. And I was just having one of those days when my anxiety was through the roof. You know, it was crazy. And I
Mm-hmm.
remember asking you like questions about what had happened, and you gave such solid advice, you know, about just taking it day by day. And it's something I'll never forget. You know,
Because we've all been there, bro. People just
yeah,
don't talk about it.
right.
And I don't ever want nobody to think I'm no different than them, because I've dealt with those same emotions. I know exactly what you're going through. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I
In
also
that
go
moment, I
like,
felt like you were, you know, you were just like open to discuss that. And so I was like, you know what, like, what better way to find out, you know, how to work through things than someone like you who's been through the craziest of crazy things, you know?
yep, yep. No, I get it, man. And also too, I think there's another thing with athletes need to talk to more athletes about transitioning, right? Though you're not a professional athlete, you still got to carry yourself as a professional. In my opinion, you still have to stay in shape. Why? Because your bodies have produced endorphins that you've been producing your whole fucking life through practice or through some form of repetition. You can't turn that off without getting depressed. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So unless you're getting that from some form of outlet, I go, typically the outlet is going to come to an end. You got to do something physical. You got to do something that's going to wear you out, so you get those same game time or game feeling, practice feeling endorphins. It's what it is. If you don't do it, you'll get depressed. And that's why most of your athletes, when you see them and they're all bloated in the face and like all of that, I tell them like, hey, stay in shape, man.
Yeah.
It like, we're not built like everybody else. We can't just stop working out. Like, it's not the way our bodies, it's not even the way our minds are conditioned anymore. So you kind of got to honor like your life path and like, nah, there's no such thing as stop working out, bro. Like,
Yeah.
it's not. And luckily, thank God, and hopefully that was part of the mentality that kept me alive, right? Like, there's just like, you know, my body was just used to being on and up and, you know, whatever. But like, I knew early, like, there's no, like, you don't just stop being an athlete. Like, you'll become depressed thinking you're not an athlete anymore, in my opinion.
Hey, one of the things in transitioning is you know, you mentioned like you and Baron have the same ADD, but like, you know, that competitive drive, you know, can you touch on some of the projects that are in the queue right now for you and things you're working on, and how that, you know, competitive drive is carried over to that, you know, what's going
Yeah.
on?
Well, I mean, I've gotten into one of the hardest games in the world, which is you know, VC. You're investing in companies, expecting great return, growth, et cetera, creating an ecosystem for them to bloom and blossom and do their thing. And I think the competitive nature from sports is perfect because, one, everything is creative. You know, basketball, business, everything is creative, right? So you have to figure out, in my opinion, what do you want to compete in, first of all, right? A lot of people are competing in the wrong shit, or shit that they shouldn't be competing in, or they care about the wrong shit. Right? So it's like, if you're going to compete and take your time, it's like, yo, make sure it is a Bridge to Bridge podcast. Make sure it is a VC that you love. Make sure it is media or whatever the fuck you love. I don't, like I'm competitive about it only because I love it that fucking much. It's not like I don't want it to be trash, or I don't want the entrepreneur to fail because of my lack of preparation or due diligence, or because I didn't do everything I said I was going to do. So I think the competitive nature from sports carries on to business, because you still take your character, and those hard lessons that I learned in sports, I try to bring to the business world as a leader, as a mentor, right? To honor those conversations where you see somebody struggling and not be an asshole, or and think I'm, whatever, because I've had a different experience, right? So I think it all kind of translates. It's like you kind of are who you are, in my opinion. It's like, shit, I want to win. Like, as I told y'all, I didn't want to go to that championship game, but thank God I did. I was pissed I lost. But shit, if I didn't see that grandiose spectacle that they call basketball, my life wouldn't have changed, right? So just having certain like perspectives and life's experience in sports, in my opinion, just makes business so much easier, because I'm actually interested in business, in opportunity, how it affects the culture, how it affects the entrepreneur, the worker, the family, the husband, the wife, the kids, right? People kind of take a lot of the humanity out of business and entrepreneurship. And I think this is now the time to recognize that we did that wrong, right? Like, we put profits over people, and to me, that's not a sustainable way to do it. So I try to compete in being not just somebody that provides opportunity, but also a human. And that's what I'm competitive about, because I give a fuck about that kind of winning, just like I did the basketball game, and myself, and where I put, where I established myself. So I go, to me, it's just all a reflection of character. I'm still trying to, work and build, and I still learn, obviously, but I go to competitive. Like, if you're competitive in sports, and you take that to whatever niche that you love, like whatever that niche is, I think that's the first part. Just wanting to win, like, you know what I mean, and not wanting to be average, right? Like, business is a game where, yes, you do have people that have more, you have people that have less, they have people that access, but there's no infinite timeline, right? It's not college. I don't have to figure this out in 4 years, right? It's not the NBA. I don't have to figure this out until I'm 24 or 25 before they stop considering me, right? It's a lifelong journey. It's a lifelong process, and I get to kind of gradually grow. And the business, hopefully, is just a reflection of not only my competitive nature, but also my humanity.
Any cannabis or crypto ventures that you're?
Of course. What do you mean? Yeah. What do you mean?
Don't even start me on crypto, because Mike knows when we start talking crypto, now we have another hour on top of the back end.
Now I'm a traditional, well, I guess they call them blue chip investor. The way I learned how to trade is more swing trade trend. So I didn't get into crypto, but the cannabis industry, I'm a veteran. We will be heavily investing into cannabis because obviously, in my opinion, the Black community got the short end of the stick, period. We went to jail. We took all the hit for it. Now that the business is actually legal and we can actually benefit and profit of it, we're literally, like everything else, less than 1% involved in the industry, but yet we're literally 95% of the people that are going to jail. So obviously I want to bring opportunities with people like Blunts and Moore. I don't know if you guys know them in Oakland. It's my man, Tucky, straight Oakland kid. He's the first equity-owned dispensary license owner in the world. My next door neighbor and my business partner is Khalid Taylor. His mother is Sue Taylor, who owns the pharmacy in Berkeley, and she's the first African-American woman to ever get a dispensary license. So I have all of this kind of black excellence of cannabis around me. So I want to make sure that I'm a light, not only for them, but also a bridge to the rest of the world, just to show, all the things that we're doing. There's another guy that I work with all the time, Chris Ball. He played football at Cal. Ball Family Farms, the largest Black-owned grower that I know of, at least on the West Coast. So, these are all the people that we plan to help amplify their brand and get them household recognition. So definitely have cannabis in the portfolio.
That's exciting. And we had another guest, Mike mentioned him, Kareem. And Kareem just started Authentic 415 in the city, killing it, and just like
beautiful cannabis shop.
Oh man,
that's what I'm talking about. Good.
Yeah. See? I'm definitely gonna intro you guys.
And the thing is, a great part of his story is he was telling us that there was a local community center in the Fillmore that got him. There was a gal there who knew the ins and outs and kind of took him and showed him and cut through. Because like you said, there's a lot of red tape, right? And it's ironic that after years and years of street sales, that the stack of paperwork is to the moon, and it's there's not.
It's not only a stack of paperwork. It's the fact that you have to have millions of dollars to even hold these licenses. It's not,
right.
and not like that. Black and brown communities don't have millions of dollars to hold a license, hold a building, pay 10, 20 grand a month in hopes, of when the city, like, get out of here. So these are just some of the conversations that, we want to talk about it. And not saying that we want anything free or like handed out, but we also have to be very realistic of like, what the hell did you expect? Right? Like, so what? We don't get any money anywhere else, and yet we're just going to pop up with a whole bunch of money for cannabis, the thing that's put us in jail, right? Like, we probably need to rethink our approach on, approaching these business owners of all colors, right? Because I go like a lot of this isn't solely a color thing. It's a lot of just the haves and have-nots, right? Yep. It's like the same people, the same. They know somebody in New York that has a fund or whatever. That's why Edgemont Way Ventures, that's why I created what we do, because we want it to be more of a like ground level approach, right? People always talk about, we invest in the community and we do this and that. And I'm like, where? I don't know which community you're talking about. I've never heard of you, seen you. My friends don't know you. I think I'm I think I should know what's going on. So I go like, y'all aren't really investing in the community, and stop playing like you are. Right. Right? So that's why we wanted to take advantage of the sector of cannabis, just because we want to be a part of just making sure it's a more equitable situation for everybody. That's all.
You got the cannabis locked. I'll catch you up on the crypto stuff on those hills.
Please do.
We'll do what's called hills in crypto.
Okay.
I might be out of breath. I might be out of breath though.
At all. I get the concept, but I don't know how like people are making money. Like I can easily tell you what I do in stocks, right? Buy low, buy high, sell high.
Right.
Look at the trends, see when, it's like I have a real, I'm not gonna even say an easy strategy. It's a strategy that I paid for and learned.
You got a master group.
Yeah, I got a master group. A lady named Terry Genoma, or Genomi, I'm sorry, is Travel with Terry. She was a personal friend of an old friend of mine. They introduced us. She was in the trading. I love self-learning. That has been one of my like biggest secrets in life. Whatever you want to get into, find a course, invest in yourself, fucking learn it. You know what I mean? Whatever it is, podcasts, investing.
Oh, dude.
And I just so you know, I just haven't taken the time to find a course and invest in crypto, because I spent my money investing, learning how to trade stocks. So I just haven't gotten there yet. So I'd be very interested, kind of get some form of crash course on what's going on, or how are people, making money with crypto. So.
Yeah, it's a fun field, man. It's There's a lot of
It's the future, and I acknowledge that. Hey, it absolutely is, and I know its value for sure. Like I said, I just haven't crossed that bridge yet.
Well, look, Ray, I think we could talk all day. Before we end, we do a bridge to bridge lightning round where we ask some questions, and they're about the community. There might be about music. You know, our last champion was the Taboni sisters, and before that, Kareem Mayfield was the Bridge to Bridge podcast lightning round champ. So I'm gonna let Dom ask you these questions, and hopefully, man, you can take the belt.
Ooh, wow, this is tough. All right, we got a challenge.
When he says it's about community and culture, it's really just like random trivial stuff that I know that I expect other people to know, and they're like, "Come on, dude, how do you expect me to know that?" But it's supposed to be nearly impossible. It's like the pizza review. We say it's really tough.
Bob struggled. Bob Myers, we had him on the podcast, and he did not win the
Bob,
belt.
yeah. I mean, come on, you know what world Bob's in. He's in a whole another planet. Baby.
I know.
Okay, well then I'll jump into it. Okay, and we do this. We do this based on the field. So we're gonna break this into preseason tournament. We're gonna go regular season playoffs, and then the championship.
Okay.
So I'm gonna throw a little softball for preseason. And when I say softball, some people it's tough in the first. But first question: this is a basketball player, a friend of yours that played for the Warriors, that did a video on roller skates with short shorts for Reebok. He had the background music.
Barely.
Okay. See, I knew. Hey, just.
I remember that video, like, dude. And he really likes the roller skate. Like,
oh yeah, that was his. That wasn't him acting or anything. That's just Baron being Baron. So, all right. That's the first one here. We're going to get a little tougher in regular season. Everyone, tournament, is tournament. This is a band,
okay,
out of Oakland, California, that sang the song "You're Still a Young Man." Now they're known for their horn section, and they had an album with a picture of the bridge that said "Back to Oakland." This is a musical group. They're old school though, so the parents may have been into it, and
it's not Come Function, is it?
No, not Come Function.
You want me to sing the song for him or play it?
No, I actually know what song you're talking about.
You know the "You're Still a Young Man."
You're still a young man.
They're out of Oakland.
Willie Hutch?
Not Willie Hutch. They're out of Oakland, California.
What? How am I?
It's an older band. No, they had a horn section. They had.
Damn.
Yeah, like I said, this is tough. This is
tough.
So
this is like my parents' age, man.
Yeah.
See what you're telling me.
Yeah. They're.
Ooh, shit. Who's from Oakland? That's a band. It was the Pointer Sisters.
I'll tell you what. Check this out. The other questions are so difficult that we've been giving some love. All right, and so we've been giving some love. So I'm gonna put that one on ice right now.
All right, yeah. Hit me in at the next one.
It gets real. It gets real.
If you get these,
now.
I'll be really surprised.
Okay, let's go.
So if you grew up in Oakland, this is a children's recreational spot that maybe you got taken to when you were a kid. There's a bunch of. It's like a storybook, like recreational fantasy spot that I just found out inspired Walt Disney. Went there in the 50s. It's right next to Lake Merritt. And if you were a kid growing up in Oakland, there's a pretty good chance that you were taken to this
Fairyland.
Boom!
Damn.
Wow!
Oh my God!
Damn!
Special place, bro. That place.
I forgot about when you said Walt Disney. I was trying to think of like, now what the hell would he come to?
Yeah, what's the?
And I was like, dude. Yeah. When you said by the lake, I'm like, oh yeah, Fairyland. He would love that.
I didn't expect you to get that. I didn't even write a fourth question. No, I do have it. This one is so difficult. Now, you went to school in Alameda, but you weren't from Alameda. You grew up in Oakland.
Absolutely.
But you
I was really from Oakland. All the way. Never lived anywhere else.
Did you spend
outside of that a little bit?
Yeah. Did you spend a decent amount of time in Alameda though, around the neighborhood, or no? You just came in.
In and out.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. I know nothing about Alameda, but let's hear it.
Well, I may pivot from this question because, and
Just
we can.
ask him it, man.
Yeah, awesome.
You might get it.
Okay, this is a world famous weightlifting gym in Alameda. It's world famous. It's not like a gym like Hoops. This is where like they're pressing weight. Arnold used to go there. It's in Alameda. It's a very famous spot, and it. I mean, that's all I can say to describe it. It's a well-known weightlifting, old school, like Gold's Gym type of place, but it's in Alameda. That's why I kind of was pivoting, because this is if you didn't spend time there.
Never. When I was in and out, and when school was over, I was back to Oakland.
Give him the answer to the first question, and then
what's that one?
So for the band,
Yeah.
the band was Tower of Power.
They're from Oakland?
They're from Oakland, man. Tower of Power is like, yeah, they're from
Damn,
Oakland.
I hope they're really from Oakland, dude, because
I guarantee you.
No.
I guarantee you.
I knew the song. I just couldn't put, like, damn, who sings that? Wow, I didn't know Tower of Power from Oakland. See, I learn something new every day.
Yeah. The
What's this gym you're talking about?
So the name of the gym is called Iron Island. It's
Never
a
knew I was there.
world famous one, and between we could go one more, but it's
give me one more. I might surprise you. Give me one more. Make it good too.
Ray, you're having a good time on the Bridge to Bridge podcast, huh?
Hey, I want to hear these trivia. I'm like, yeah, I got to do better.
We got roots in the Bay, man. I knew this would be a good idea. That's why we were pumped to have you on, man.
Well, yeah, I got to hear this one.
Okay, I'm gonna give you a shot here.
Okay.
And this is gonna be tough. So basically, I went to fan day at Oakland A's Stadium back in, I think it was like 89.
Yep.
88.
Okay.
I got a signed hat.
Mm-hmm.
From at the time, the signatures on the hat were from the A's manager and the catcher. If you can tell me who the manager of the A's was back in the 80s when they were winning and they won the series against the Giants, and who the catcher was, then it's
we'll give you the belt. My man's got someone right there next to him. Look this up.
No, so manager was wasn't he the short Latino brother? Tony La Russa?
Got it. I think he was Italian, but he may have been Latino too. I'm not sure.
Okay, all right. Italian, sure. Latino.
Yeah. Enchiladas lasagna is the same dish, just red sauce,
Latinx,
cheese.
I think is what they call it. He could have been a Spaniard brother. So
okay.
Tony La Russa, and then the catcher.
Ooh. This is very, very, very tough.
Man, so catcher, so it was Walt Weiss in third.
Ooh, Walt Weiss.
Right?
He played shortstop.
Or short.
Yeah.
So he was short. McGuire's on first. Typically Dave. Eckerson closed. Ricky center.
Mm-hmm.
Seiko left. Dave, who's the other big dude? And then the catcher was
I'll give you a hint.
Okay.
His last name sounds like a very famous coffee shop all over the world. But it's not quite, but it sounds a little bit like that.
Tony La Russa, and the catcher was shit.
I could tell it's right there too, man.
Man, I can see the team, but I can't see his name in the back of his jersey.
Maybe I can show him a picture.
No, I can tell you. I mean, you want to. Hey, you crushed most of these. You did far better than.
Shit, who is that? Nope. Let's hear it.
Terry Steinbach.
That's
Yeah, and that's and you got to understand that's a very tough pull right
It's all
there.
good. We're gonna have Ray back on, and
We're gonna have
That's
Ray.
it.
And,
I forgot. You're right. You're right. That's him.
hey, I'll tell you what though, Fairyland was a pull and a half.
yeah, that's a championship question right there.
Fairyland is a
Well,
championship.
I mean, in my brain,
one.
I was just like, why the hell would Walt Disney ever want to come to Oakland? So,
Hey.
so Fairyland. Okay, yeah.
That though, Oakland, man, it's good to talk to someone from Oakland in that time because it was such a the culture was so incredible. And when you say, you know, went to Florida, came back, even though it was the murder capital, I mean, like Oakland had such a vibe, such a good spirit that it was unbelievable. And obviously you were a huge part of that culture and history, being a legend, you know, out of Oakland in the basketball game and you know, just awesome. It's awesome that you're, you know, a part of that. That's forever, man. You know what I mean? Like you said, those playgrounds speak, and they'll always whisper the name of Ray Young for sure, without a doubt.
Ray, thank you so much.
That's all I can ask for. You know, it's like shit. I did my best. And like I said, I'm just happy that like now that I'm older, I'm able to like recognize that I did inspire people, because these are just things you never like think about, or I didn't.
You inspired us, dude. We're products
no.
of the inspiration. So, you know.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
For sure. Thank you so much for coming on the Bridge to Bridge podcast, man.
No, of course, Mike. Anytime, Dom. Pleasure to meet you, killer.
I'm gonna connect you guys. Windsor Hill Connect right there.
Yeah, yeah. Let me know. My girl's over here, so I'm typically running these hills, you know, all the time. I'm over here right now, so you let me know.
I don't know if you surf.
Connect.
Dom surfs, so he'll get you out there into the water.
No. So I have surfed, and I do have a decent understanding, but we'd have to wait till the summer. The water's too damn cold.
Oh yeah, it's cold. It's cold.
Yeah, so we gotta wait. We gotta wait till there's the consistent 80s, and you know, in the summer, then I don't mind jumping out there.
Yeah,
for sure, man. Thank you, Ray. We appreciate it, bro.
Hey, man.
Nah, man. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Bridge to bridge.
Yeah, we'll send it.